Which other multi-trillion-dollar asset manager is looking to open their own Bitcoin spot ETF? We're going to talk about that and a few other things, but first let's get into it. Google is now adjusting their advertisement policies to allow the advertisement of financial products that permit investors to trade shares in trusts holding substantial pools of digital currency will deemed eligible for advertising. So basically, you can't advertise for Bitcoin directly, but you can advertise for the third-party middlemen that are getting in the way between true ownership over their Bitcoin. Basically, they're ushering people into the loving arms of BlackRock, Van Eck, Fidelity, instead of giving them any hint as to how to take true ownership over their wealth. They're sending them into custody solutions that BlackRock can offer. Also, we have some news about Europe. Let me know in your comments right now, what percentage of Europeans do you think are bullish on cryptocurrencies? And bonus, what do you think they actually like about cryptocurrencies? Well, Binance has done a poll from people from various countries in Europe, like France, Italy, Spain, and Sweden. And it turns out 73% of the people that they polled are optimistic on the future of cryptocurrencies. One of the top things that they are most bullish on, should be no surprise, is price appreciation in the future, but also really bullish for me personally to know of the top three things that these Europeans were polled as being bullish on, of course, price, but also decentralization and innovation. So I think this actually speaks a lot to those who are paying attention to talks about CBDCs and government issued digital currencies and the real concerns that those pose for the citizenry. So for these people to be, the vast majority of them, bullish on crypto and to have their values pointed towards decentralization, I think is amazing. So who is the other asset manager at $8.5 trillion of assets under management? This guy, Charles Schwab. They do offer their customers to have exposure to other Bitcoin spot ETFs, but they haven't launched their own. At least not yet. There's one analyst from Bloomberg saying that obviously they're paying attention to this newfound popularity and demand for Bitcoin spot ETFs now that the cat's out of the bag, basically. Not to mention how BlackRock and Fidelity have a combined $4 billion in their ETF sitting right now. I'm sure Charles Schwab sees the potential. And maybe they're going to be the next one. You're going to see an ad running from Charles Schwab advertising their Bitcoin spot ETF thing. And they're also saying that one way that they can make themselves more marketable or to have a leg up on the competition is to offer even cheaper fees. So maybe they're going to even underscore Fidelity and BlackRock. And what does that mean for Grayscale, whose fees are still like 4 times that? What are they? 3 or 4 times the fees offered by BlackRock now. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of fleeing from GBTC into these other ETFs. And Charles Schwab is probably going to do something similar. So it's going to be another entity trying to get their hands on real native Bitcoin, because this is a spot ETF. And not to mention, this is just the US. There's countries around the world that are trying to get their governments to approve spot ETFs, Hong Kong being one of them. And there's a lot of talk now saying that there's one that's got like 260 million assets under management that is really close to getting approval, or they're hoping to get approved. So just let your mind wrap around the fact of there is so little Bitcoin compared to the wealth in the world, and everyone wants a piece of it. And that's why we should always be looking at the price events happening last week as buying opportunities. Were you dollar cost averaging? Maybe you're ramping up your buying when the prices go cheaper. That's according, hopefully, to your own investment plan and your financial situation. Always keep that in mind. If you want to know even more in depth what Toby and I think of what's happening in the cryptocurrency market, and if you want to see what we thought of and what we called last last week and the week before that, you got to check out learningcrypto.com, home of the CT Club. We post our trade alerts, we post our market updates, and you get to see our actual cryptocurrency portfolio. If you're wondering what is a great and actually the most time-tested, successful investment strategy for Bitcoin, it's dollar cost averaging. If you don't know what it is, do a quick web search. It's very straightforward. But that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name's Heidi. This is Crypto Tips.